My name is Sarah. I live in New York City. I am 28 years old. Since I was a child, I wanted to speak English well, but I felt shy when I spoke. I didn't feel strong or confident. Also, I could not go to English classes. So I asked myself, what can I do? I decided to try something different. I would learn English at home. I sat down with a notebook. I wrote one sentence. I want to learn English. Then I made a simple plan. I would study for 2 hours every day. I would not give up. I put this paper on my fridge. Each day I looked at it. It reminded me to stay strong. That was the first step in my journey. It felt small, but it was very important. I wanted to see English every day, so I put small labels on things in my home. My fridge said refrigerator. My spoon said spoon. Even my door said door. I smiled every time I saw a new word. I read them again and again. The words became part of my mind. Learning like this felt fun. It was my home, but now it was also my classroom. I didn't have a real teacher, but I found help on the internet. I used websites like Duolingo and Memrise. They helped me learn words and short sentences. I also watched YouTube every day. I liked channels like Rachel's English. They showed me how to say words clearly. I listened, paused, and repeated after them. Slowly, my English got better. I was learning from my laptop. Books scared me before, but I wanted to try. I went to the children's section online. I read short, simple stories. Each word was easy to understand. Then I moved to short novels, and later to the news. Reading helped me learn grammar without thinking. It also showed me many ways to say things. I started to love reading. I love music, so I made an English playlist. I listened to it every morning. At first, I didn't understand, but I read the lyrics while listening. One day, I sang along. It felt fun and relaxing. Then I tried podcasts like The English We Speak. They were short and clear. I listened while cleaning or walking. I was learning without stress. Speaking was very hard for me, so I tried something simple. I talked to myself in the mirror. Good morning, Sarah. How are you today? I said these small things every day. At first I felt silly, but then it became normal. I also recorded my voice. I listened and tried to speak better next time. Slowly, my voice got stronger. I wanted to practice with real people, so I joined English forums and chat groups. I talked to people from other countries. We helped each other with questions. I made one friend from Japan. She was also learning English. We sent voice messages every day. It felt like having a language buddy. We laughed, made mistakes, and kept going. Learning with friends felt more fun. I watched a lot of English TV. My favourite was Friends. At first, I used subtitles. I wrote down phrases I liked. Later, I watched without subtitles. I tried to guess the meaning. TV helped me learn real conversation. The way people speak fast, slow, or with emotion. It made English feel alive. It was like playing and learning together. I bought a small notebook. I wrote in English every night. Sometimes I wrote about my day. Sometimes about my feelings. Even short entries helped me think in English. It became a special part of my day. I also wrote small stories. Later, I shared them with my online friends. They gave me comments and ideas. I was not just learning, I was creating. After some time, I wanted more structure. So I joined free English classes online. Websites like Coursera and edX had good lessons. They taught grammar, vocabulary, and writing. Each course had videos and small quizzes. I watched lessons in the evening. I repeated hard parts many times. The quizzes showed me what I needed to review. It felt like real school, but from my bed. And I didn't feel alone anymore. I downloaded English apps on my phone. Apps like Babbel and Rosetta Stone helped me learn fast. They had short lessons with pictures and voice. I used them on the train, in a cafe, or before bed. Even 10 minutes a day helped me a lot. I liked the games inside the apps. They made learning feel like fun. Sometimes I forgot I was studying. That made me happy. Because English became part of my day. I wanted to speak more, so I joined online meetups. People from many countries joined. We talked about hobbies, food, and travel. The topics were easy and fun. Nobody judged my mistakes. They just smiled and helped. Speaking with others made me brave. I felt nervous at first. But after a few meetings, I felt strong. I followed English teachers on Instagram. They posted daily words and grammar tips. Some made funny videos to explain rules. I also watched English stories with subtitles. They were short and interesting. Social media helped me learn while relaxing. Sometimes I repeated what I heard. Or I wrote comments in English. I was learning from my phone. Even during lunch breaks, I wanted to sound clear. So I talked to Google Assistant. I said, "What's the weather today?" and listened to how it replied. If I said something wrong, I tried again. It felt like a small conversation. I also used Siri on my phone. These tools gave quick feedback. They helped my pronunciation. And they were free. I didn't just learn words. I wanted to know the people too. I watched videos about life in the UK and US. I learned about their holidays and food. I saw how people talk at work or at home. It helped me understand English better. Because language is not only grammar, it is also culture and feeling. This made learning more interesting. And I felt closer to the world. I made small goals in real life. One goal was to order food in English. Another was to join an online book club. I also wanted to speak at a Zoom meeting. Each time I finished a goal, I smiled. I felt proud and more confident. These were not just study goals. They were real moments. Each one showed that I was growing. Step by step, I became stronger. Every week, I looked back. What did I do well? What was hard for me? I made notes in my journal. Sometimes I changed my study plan. Maybe I needed more listening. Maybe less grammar. This helped me stay on track. Learning is not always easy, but when you reflect, you learn better. I gave myself small rewards. When I learned 20 new words, I ate chocolate. When I finished a hard video, I watched my favorite movie. These little gifts kept me happy. Learning English is a long road, but we must enjoy the walk. Celebrations gave me energy. Even a good job note to myself helped. Every win, even small, was special because I worked for it. Some days were easy, some days were hard. But I always studied, even for 30 minutes. I didn't wait for perfect days. I used what time I had. Even when I felt lazy, I tried a short podcast. This habit made me strong. Practice every day builds progress, step by step. That's how I improved. I wanted to know if I was doing well. So I asked my online friends to read my writing. They gave me kind and honest comments. Some told me, "Great job." Others helped me fix my grammar. I also asked native speakers simple questions. They answered with care. Feedback showed me my mistakes, but it also showed me my progress. And that gave me hope. One day I stopped feeling afraid. I didn't study because I had to. I studied because I wanted to. Learning became a part of my day, like drinking tea or taking a walk. Sometimes I laughed at my own mistakes, and I kept going because I started to enjoy it. That feeling was new and beautiful. I made a vision board on my wall. I cut pictures from magazines. A photo of London, a book in English, a person giving a speech. These were my goals. I added small notes like, "Keep going." Every morning I looked at it. It helped me stay focused. It reminded me why I started. I love cooking. So I watched cooking shows in English. I followed recipes with English words. I learned words like mix, boil, and slice. It was fun and useful. I also read food blogs in English. Sometimes I made mistakes, but the food still tasted good. Now English is part of my kitchen, and learning feels delicious. I wanted to try something different. So I read poems in English. They were short, but deep. I liked the feeling in each word. I also read old books by famous writers. Some parts were hard, but I learned new ways to think and feel. I even tried writing a poem myself. It was not perfect, but it was mine. That made me proud. I used flashcards to learn new words. I made cards with the word on one side and the meaning on the other. I looked at them every morning. I also used an app called Anki. It reminded me when to study each card. I didn't forget words so fast. The more I repeated, the better I remembered. It was a simple system, but it worked. I joined a writing group online. We wrote short stories in English. I shared my work in the group. The other writers gave helpful advice. Sometimes we had fun writing games, like writing a story with only 50 words. It made me use my brain. I learned to write with feeling, not just rules, and that made me better. I made a small corner in my room. It had a table, a chair, and a lamp. I put my books and notebook there. On the wall, I pinned new words. This was my English corner. It was quiet and warm. Every day, I sat there to learn. When I sat in that chair, I felt ready. It was my special place. Just for English. I wanted to sound natural. So I learned common phrases, like "I'm on my way" or "What's up?" I found them in videos and books. I used a book called English Idioms in Use. Some phrases were funny, some were strange, but people really use them. Now I can speak more like a local. That feels amazing. Sometimes I felt tired. Sometimes I felt stuck. So I learned to stay calm. I did deep breathing before study time. I closed my eyes and rested. Learning a language is hard. It takes time and energy, but when I feel calm, I learn better. I tell myself, it's okay to go slow, because slow is still progress. I wanted to meet more people, so I joined English groups on Facebook. I also used Reddit to ask questions. In these groups, we shared tips and tools. People helped when I didn't understand. We talked about movies, grammar, and jokes. Sometimes I just read their messages. Other times I joined the chat. It felt good to be part of something. I was not alone on this journey. I learned a new way to practice. It is called speech shadowing. I listened to a sentence from a native speaker. Then I repeated it right away. I copied their speed and voice. It helped me sound more natural. At first, it was very hard, but I did it every day. My pronunciation got better. Now I speak with more rhythm. I started watching comedy shows in English. At first, I didn't laugh. I didn't understand the jokes, but I kept watching. I looked up new words. Then one day, I smiled. The joke made sense. That was a big moment because humor is part of real life. Now I laugh and learn at the same time. I set a weekly check-in with my tutor. We met online every Sunday. We talked about what I learned and what I still didn't understand. Sometimes we read a short text. Other times we practiced speaking. These check-ins helped me stay focused. I felt like someone was walking with me, not pushing me, but supporting me. And that made a difference. I started reading news in English. At first, I used BBC Learning English. The articles were short and simple. Later, I read CNN and The Guardian. I learned new words like economy and climate. I understood more about the world, and I learned how people write in formal English. It also helped me during conversations, because I could talk about real things, like events, people, and places. One day, I joined an online debate. It was a simple group chat. We chose topics like books versus movies. Everyone gave their opinion. I wrote mine in short, clear sentences. At first, I felt nervous, but people were friendly. Debating helped me use my brain. I learned to speak clearly and think fast. It was a fun challenge. I played English games online, like Scrabble and Word Search. I also used apps like Duolingo Stories. They had small games after each lesson. Games helped me relax. They also taught me spelling and new words. Sometimes I played with friends. We laughed and learned together. It didn't feel like study, but I still got better. I started recording myself in English. Every week, I made a short video. I talked about what I learned and what I wanted to try next. Then I watched old videos. I could hear my voice change. I was speaking more clearly, and I used better words. These videos showed my journey and gave me motivation to keep going. I listened to English from many countries: British, American, Australian, even Indian English. At first, they sounded very different, but slowly I understood more. I noticed new words and styles. This helped me become a better listener and a more flexible speaker. Now I can talk to more people from more places. That feels powerful. I made a small group of friends online. Some were learners like me. Some were teachers or native speakers. We talked every week. We helped each other. We shared mistakes and progress. This support made me feel safe. Like a team, not a student alone. We grew together. And we're still growing. I stopped and looked back at my first day. I remembered how scared I was, how I didn't know many words. But now I can speak and write more. I understand songs, books, and people. I feel proud of myself. I worked hard every day, and I didn't give up. This journey changed me. I became more confident. English used to scare me. Now it makes me smile. I enjoy learning new things. I enjoy talking with people. I'm not afraid of mistakes anymore. I know mistakes are part of learning. They help me grow. I learn, try again, and get better. That's what matters most. Joy replaced fear. English is now in my daily life. I read in English in the morning. I write in English at night. I think in English sometimes too. It's not just a subject anymore. It's a tool I use to connect, to work, to play. It helps me explore the world. Learning English opened new doors, and I want to keep walking. Now I help other learners. I share my tips and stories. I join beginner groups online. When someone feels lost, I say, "You can do it. I did too." I understand how they feel because I was there and I want to give back. Helping others also helps me. It keeps me learning. One day, I ordered coffee in English. The barista smiled and understood me. I felt so happy. It was a small win, but it meant a lot. I also helped a tourist find the subway. She said, "Your English is good." That made my day. English is now useful, not just theory. I can use it for real things. Even after many months, I keep learning. There's always a new word, a new sound, a new way to say something. I don't feel done. I feel excited. English is like a big world, and I still have places to visit. The journey is not over, and that's okay. Some days are fast, some days are slow. I don't always learn quickly, but I stay patient. I trust the process. Even 5 minutes of learning helps. A short video, a small conversation. Every bit adds up. Patience is my quiet strength. It keeps me going. Now I can say what I feel. I can talk about my dreams. I can share my story. Even if I use simple words, people still understand me. That is powerful. Language is not just grammar. It is connection. And now I can connect from my heart to theirs. I never left my apartment to study, but my mind traveled far. I met people from many countries. I learned about their lives, and they learned about mine. English was the bridge. From my room in New York, I reached the world, and the world reached back. It's amazing what one language can do. If you are learning English too, don't give up. Start small. Make a plan. Use what you have. Talk to yourself. Write 1 sentence a day. Watch, read, listen, speak. And most of all, enjoy it, because your journey can be beautiful too.